Oh, yeah. What is up, Bo? Grinding. It's almost time to get weird. Yeah, and is it free yet? No, the game hasn't launched yet. I don't imagine it'll launch this year at all. I was just getting back into Path of Exile, and then Nightmare was like, here's a DLC. This should be fun. I'm excited. I'm excited. Did everyone see the Total War announcements? Here, just gave out a sub, or just did a tier 3 sub. Thank you, bro. Blueberry, strawberry, mango, chia seeds, flax seeds, protein powder, creatine, collagen powder, honey, and peanut butter. Oh, is there any music here? This is gonna be great. I'm really excited for this. This is a character next to the Templar I'm the most excited for. Medieval 3 was announced. That was it. So just announced. That'll probably be coming in 2027. The Total War Warhammer 3 End Time Saga is happening. Be playable on the 12th with the free weekend. Yeah, man, good to have you here, Amadon. Zyfair, what's up, man? Yeah, I am. That weekend I'm competing in a High Rocks though, so I'm like, fuck, I won't be able to. Oh,
I'm Jonathan Rogers, game director on Path of Exile 2.
Warhammer 3, Josh.
Welcome to GGG Live.
Or Medieval 3.
Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal for what's coming next for Path of Exile 2. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so you'll be able to claim your Verdant Wilds dodge roll effect by following the instructions below. Now today, it's finally time to show off a new class that we know everyone in the community's been waiting for.
Fuck yeah, man.
So let's
Just
roll
waiting for a new
trails
class,
Path of Exile
period.
2, the last of the Druids.
I think Marauders too. People are really excited for Marauders.
Well, what have we got here then?
You lost, fella?
Hey, we're talking to you.
I asked you a question.
There's that wolf form, baby. Bear form. And there's a supposed third form too being revealed today.
Ah, he's lost his bloody mind.
Is that gorilla form? No. Yeah, exactly. I don't really want Marauder. I just want swords. Oh, look at that wolf. The wolf has got some cold. Dude, that's sick. So a hurricane can take on the element. Oh, there it is. It's Wyvern. This is something that people had talked about. Was data mined. And Wyvern's gonna be electric, it looks like. And fire? Fuck. That's fucking sick, dude. Yeah. That'll do. I think we're all gonna be Druid today.
I will find you, Eve.
I think that was the thing they were waiting for. They were trying to figure out the animations, and I think it was for Wyvern.
Now, as you can see, the Druid is a shape-shifting elemental spellcaster. After his fellow Druids were destroyed by the King in the Mists, the Druid lost his humanity in the forests of Ogham, where he wandered for years as a beast. Now, finally reawakened, he's determined to find his lost wife and regain his humanity.
Yeah, that's so fucking
The Druid
good.
has been one of the hardest classes for us to design. As well as having human spells, he has 3 animal forms, and we wanted to make sure that there were interesting combos between all of them. The Druid is our first hybrid strength and intelligence class. That means he needs to have the ability to use spells and attacks. As a human, the Druid typically uses magical staves to harness the powers of the earth and the natural world. One of the first skills you will learn is the ability to create small volcanoes from the earth. This skill spits out balls of magma at your enemies, and will continue to do so for some time. While the volcano is active, turn into an animal and wade into melee range.
Oh, yeah.
Many of the skills you use as a human last for a significant period of time, giving you a good chance to turn into an animal and rage out. But how do you turn into an animal, you may ask? Well, the answer is a new weapon type that Druids use, animal talismans.
Okay.
When you equip an animal talisman, you can choose which animal form you would like the talisman to represent. Depending on what you choose, you'll be given that animal's basic attack as a new skill to equip. For a bear, that's Maul. To turn into a bear, simply use the skill. Your character will instantly transform into a bear and attack.
Because I was wondering if it was bound to the skills.
Just cast a spell. You will instantly swap back and cast it. We wanted to make sure that swapping between forms was seamless and immediate. Changing forms should be something that you do without even thinking about it all the time in battle. In order to allow for hybrid melee and caster gameplay, most of the skills you use in your human form last for some time and aid your animal skills in some way. The volcano we used earlier will emit more molten balls whenever you hit it with a slam, making it perfect for use with your bear form's furious slam.
Yeah, if it's a weapon, anyone can do it.
While in bear form, many of your abilities use rage. There are a lot of ways to generate rage, but the easiest one is simply smash your enemies with Maul. Once you see the runes on your back glowing, it means you have enough rage to do a much more devastating version of your furious slam.
So do you have to switch between the staff and the talisman?
Stomping the ground as you demolish your foes. The more rage you have, the longer the rampage lasts, and doing it over a volcano makes it even better.
That's sick.
As you consume rage, your bear form will generate endurance charges, and these can be used with skills like Ferocious Roar. Ferocious Roar is a war cry that empowers your subsequent attacks to break your opponent's armor. The more endurance charges you have when you use it, the more empowered attacks you will gain. But Ferocious Roar has another special feature too. It's a meta gem that allows you to socket any Warcry gem from another class into it, giving you the ability to use these skills as a bear.
Damn.
Use the Warrior's Infernal Cry skill to make your enemies explode.
Okay, so the actual use of the skill swaps you. You just have the talisman selected.
To stun your enemies and double up the number of slams you do.
That's so cool.
You can even use it with Ancestral Call, a skill that turns you into the fire god Khal.
Oh.
Ever wondered what the Karui god of war would look like if he was a bear?
Oh.
Wait no longer. Finally, build up enough rage and you can use one of the bear's ultimate abilities, Walking Calamity. This skill summons a storm of fire around you for some time, while generating even more rage to power your other abilities. A true bear apocalypse.
Seriously,
Now, the bear is known for being a slower and more lumbering animal, with slower attacks and
Give me that werewolf.
slams.
Give me that
But what if you want to
fucking
turn into
werewolf.
something a little more nimble? Well, let's check out the second animal form for the Druid, wolf form. For the wolf form, we wanted to go fast and furious. Even just the wolf's basic attack will leap forward and rake his foes. After attacking, the wolf stands up on 2 legs, but after running for a short time,
like
he goes
and
back on all
subscribe, I
fours,
hate you.
allowing to move more quickly between packs of enemies. The wolf has a lot of cold attacks based on his association with the moon, and the first of these is Lunar Assault. It's great for freezing your enemies in place.
I love that.
After they're frozen, use your basic rake attack to knock shards of ice off your enemies, which land on the ground nearby and explode. If you want to get into battle quickly, you can use your pounce attack. This skill leaps at a target and applies a mark to them. Killing the marked enemy will summon a wolfman into your side, allowing them to fight with you. Mark and kill as many enemies as you can to build up a sizable pack. While an enemy is marked, your wolves will prioritize that target and do more damage the more wolves you have. So make sure you keep your pack strong.
That's sick.
Now, one problem you might run into is your wolf pack dying in boss fights. You often don't have any enemies that you can mark and kill in order to regenerate your pack. To deal with this problem, you can use Cross Slash. Cross Slash jumps backwards and does a vicious double slash. Any marks on your target explode and triggers their abilities. This allows you to pounce to mark an enemy and then summon a wolf even without killing him. Cross
That's
Slash
so
also
cool.
has another feature though. Remember those ice fragments from before? Well, Cross Slash will propel any ice shards on the ground towards its central target. First, freeze your enemies with Lunar Assault. Then rake them to create as many ice fragments as you can. Then follow up with Cross Slash to generate a field of icy explosions to obliterate your enemies. If they're still alive after that, your pack of wolves can finish them off. Just like with the Bear's Raw skill earlier that allows you to use skills from other classes, Pounce is also a meta gem that you can socket Mark skills from other classes into. So for example, you might want to try adding Freezing Mark from the Monk to Pounce. After pouncing at an enemy, Cross Slash to explode the mark and gain extra cold damage for a time. The Wolf has many other ways to go all in on cold though. Using the
Yes.
Arctic Howl Warcry will allow you to add cold damage and chilled ground to any slam, while buffing your pack of wolves as well. You can also use it to freeze enemies that are close to being frozen, making it much faster to use.
So with Pounce, you can put any gem you want in, he's saying?
Finally, the wolf also has the ability to call down the power of the moon to transform into an Arctic werewolf with Lunar Blessing. In this form, you move and attack more quickly and deal extra cold damage. Consuming Rage will extend the duration of your Arctic wolf form, so you could try a hybrid bear and wolf build if you want to utilize the skill to its full effect.
Oh, damn.
Alright, let's talk about the third form available to the Druid, and I think it's a cool one, the Wyvern. The Wyvern has a number of long-range breath abilities, but that doesn't mean you can't get into melee range when you want to. The basic attack of the Wyvern is Rend. Jump forward into combat and slash your enemies with your lethal talons. If they're close to being stunned, you can blow them off balance with a blast from your wings, causing an explosion of damage.
Oh, fuck.
After the battle though, it's time to feed. Devour the corpses of monsters to create power charges, and this is when the Wyvern's abilities really come online.
You devour corpses?
When using Rend, you can consume a power charge to charge up your wings with lightning. Not only does this do a bunch of damage, but it allows you to turn this melee skill into a much larger AoE attack. Once your wings are charged, your Wing Blast will also do lightning explosions for even more damage. If your enemies are close to death, no need to wait for them to actually die. When you see this blue marker, just devour them alive. Fresh meat is much tastier after all. Alright, so those are some melee options, but how about range? Well, you wouldn't be much of a dragon if you couldn't breathe fire after all. Rolling Magma is the first of the Wyvern's breath attacks. Spit balls of fire that bounce along the ground. These balls will trigger volcanoes as well, so it's a good idea to cast one as a human right before you start spitting.
That's stupid. That's stupid. That is so
But
cool.
that's not all you can spit. You have something a little nastier in that gullet of yours. Spitting a barrage of oil at your enemies will cover them in a viscous sludge that makes them easier to ignite. If you have power charges though, plant your wings in the ground and vomit a barrage of lightning-infused projectiles. The more power charges you have, the longer you can do this for. But make sure you keep your foes at range. You're vulnerable to melee attacks while channeling this skill. In order to help with that, let's take a quick diversion back to some of your human abilities. As a Druid of Scoth, you have the ability to harness the power of nature to create entangling vines to slow down your enemies. Another of nature's punishments is the thunderstorm. Creating one of these will create periodic strikes of lightning from the sky, and will also make your enemies wet. Why is that useful? Well, of course, things that are wet are easier to shock. Use it with lightning damage from your Wyvern form to enhance your damage. Making
What up,
things
Daddy
wet
Pone?
also makes them easier to freeze, so it works nicely with your wolf form as well.
That's
And you
so
know what
sick.
else likes water? Plants. Water your plants to give them various extra abilities. Use Lightning Storm with Entangle to make them last longer, and attach more vines to each enemy, slowing them further. Summon Thrashing Vines to slam at your enemies for a time. Any that are created in water will be larger and deal more
Yeah,
damage.
they're new weapon. It's a new weapon stick, man. It's all linked to the talisman.
Now then, with our enemies sufficiently subdued with our plants, time to really lay into them with our lightning-infused barrage. Now, this last Wyvern ability is just ridiculous, but we felt like we had to do it. Use Flame Breath to take to the skies and rain down a stream of fire on your enemies. You have wings, so we have to take full advantage of them after all. So fly around and burn in it.
That's so sick. That's so sick.
Now, there are a few other skills we didn't cover, but there's one in particular that I think will open up a lot of builds. Spell Totems.
I was hoping there'd be
Spell
totem
Totems
play.
are meta gems that let you create a totem that will automatically cast any spell in the game for a time. In order to create one, you will need to spend 3 endurance or 3 power charges. You could use them to throw fireballs, summon comets, or shower the area in lightning. Really, the options are kind of endless. Your bear form can easily generate endurance charges by consuming rage, and your wyvern form can easily create power charges by eating corpses. So it's pretty easy for the druid to get the charges needed, but they're also available from quite a few other places as well. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of different spellcaster classes thinking about how best to take advantage of these. Now, of course, along with a new class comes a bunch of new support gems. We've added over 30 new supports throughout the game, but I'll show you a few of the cooler ones here. Fan the Flames can be added to any wind skill to spread fire from one ignited enemy to the other enemies behind them.
Oh.
It's great for the Wyvern's Wing Blast. But you can also use it on many other classes
They
with
burned
wind
before.
skills, like the Twisters on the Huntress, or the Monk's Staggering Palm Projectiles. Accelerated growth causes extra explosive plants to erupt from the ground whenever you grow plants with rain. And Advancing Storm changes storm skills like your Thunderstorm or Tornado to move across the battlefield. It's great for watering plants on
Oh,
land,
sick.
or to turn tornadoes into a real disaster by sucking up multiple ground effects as they travel along.
Oh.
And the Sorceress might like to use it with Firestorm as well.
Oh. Oh.
Echoing Cry causes your Warcry skills to echo. They will repeat a couple more times with a delay after you use them.
Oh,
giving
that's
you more
sick.
empowered attacks.
Yeah, a lot of this is
Use
going to
it
be
the
really good for
druid's
Warrior.
animal form Warcries, or on the Warrior for a nice power boost.
Because Warriors use lots of war cries and lots of totems.
Grounding Shocks causes monsters you shock to turn into living Tesla coils, arcing lightning to nearby enemies. You could use it with your empowered wings for an extra damage boost, but it's also great with any other shocking skill. Try it out with Lightning Spear. It obviously needed more AoE clear.
Oh.
There's a whole pile more, but we'll leave those for you to discover.
Javazon's back, baby.
New
Javazon's
class
back.
comes new ascendancy classes. The Druid will have 2 options for now, with a third being released later. The first class is the Shaman. The Shaman channels nature's elemental fury and can harness rage as a spellcaster, unifying his animalistic and magical tendencies.
Oh, sick.
By allocating Druidic Champion, you gain spell damage the angrier you are. And with Furious Wellspring, you generate rage continuously and can spend it to empower your spells.
That is sick.
With the knowledge of the Asmerian Magi, the Shaman can harness untapped power from runes and idols. After allocating Wisdom of the Magi, you will notice that all runes and idols have extra mods only available to the Shaman.
Oh, that's
These
fucking
new mods
cool.
unlock countless new possibilities for enhancing your build. You can also allocate Bringer of the Apocalypse, allowing you to become a walking natural disaster.
Show it to me.
After dealing enough elemental damage, storms of all elements rain around you,
Oh.
destroying all who would face nature's fury.
Oh.
There are other abilities for the Shaman, but I'll just show a few from each class for now. The other Druid ascendancy is the Oracle.
Ooh.
The Oracle perfected the power of foresight and utilizes this in combat to gain massive advantage. When taking Fateful Vision, you will see visions of your future self using specific skills. If you decide to follow this path by using the skill yourself, it will do significantly more damage.
Oh, okay, I see it.
And with Converging Paths, at a critical moment in battle when a monster is vulnerable to freeze, stun, or electrocution, the Oracle can use Moment of Vulnerability to see a vision of the enemy's future, and then merge it with the current timeline, allowing him to deal damage to both.
That's pretty
One
crazy.
of my favorites. When you first become an Oracle, you'll notice over 130 new extra passives appear in the Druid section of the tree. By allocating the unseen path, you use your power of foresight to learn from alternate futures and gain skills that would otherwise be unavailable to you. For example, self-sacrificing allows you to be able to summon more minions by reducing the spirit costs, with the trade-off of making your reservation skills cost more spirit.
Dude, that's
Or
fucking
corruption
awesome.
endures, which allows oracles to have a small chance to avoid death. Both the Druid ascendencies offer interesting and unique ways to gain modifiers that no other classes can get, so we're expecting a huge variety of build possibilities from these. Now there are unique talismans for the Druid to use as well. We won't spoil all of them, but this one was particularly cool. Fury of the King turns your bear form into a fire demon, converting most of your damage to fire. As a demon, you can also use Molten Crash, a
What the
jumping
fuck is
slime
that?
attack that leaves fissures around you. This unique also continuously grants glory, allowing you to use your ultimate abilities more easily. Now, of course, the Druid isn't the only thing we're adding to 040. We still have a bunch more to show. With every new release, we create a new league with new mechanics, new pinnacle bosses, and with a new story to tell. And this time is no exception. So let's
some
roll the
refreshing
trailer
gamer
for the
subs.
fate of the Vaal.
The palace of Queen Atziri. It is a ruin, but in the dark, machines still churn. The temple has many functions, and with it, a chance to save the Vaal. A gateway through time. Travel into the past.
They didn't mention anything about companions, really. Which is weird.
Alter the temple. Uncover its secrets. You will be rewarded for your sacrifice. And somewhere in the deepest chamber, my queen awaits. I beg of you, hear me. The beast cannot give you what you desire.
You may have studied it, Doriani, but you do not know it
Oh,
like I do.
oh, milady.
Adores
Oh,
me.
dude, she's got some great hips. Great hips. Amazing
Come
hips.
now.
Big hip guy.
Give unto me your desire. At
You can have it.
last, fulfill my soul.
I'm gonna come.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile.
I was wondering when Marky Mark
In
would
the
come back.
fate of the Vaal League, you will find remnants of the ancient Vaal civilization scattered throughout Rayclast. They seem to attract nearby creatures and affect them strangely.
Good to see you, Analog.
After killing them, the remnant appears to gain some amount of power, but not enough to fully activate it. It seems you will need to find 5 more of these arcane devices, and sacrifice the monsters you find there to fully activate one. But things don't always go to plan. These devices are old, and sometimes infected by corruption. Twisted versions of ancient Vaal may emerge, and sometimes even stronger foes. On fully activating one of the devices, you finally discover its true purpose. A portal opens and takes you deep underground to a lost temple, once the home of Atziri, Queen of the Vaal. What
It's
treasures
TGA.
could still be inside? I think you're gonna want to find out.
Oh, the Game Awards.
In front of the entrance is a console of some kind, and on activating it, you can see a map of the temple. Atziri's personal chambers are on the far side, but how could anyone get there? There are disconnected rooms, and the layout doesn't seem to make sense. And that's when you realize the purpose of the ancient devices scattered through Rayclast. The temple is powered by sacrifice, and this energy can be used to modify the very structure of the temple itself. Each time you run the temple, you will be given 6 rooms that you can place, allowing you to craft your own dungeon to explore.
I like
Place
that.
paths to link up the dungeon, and place rooms beside them full of precious loot. After you are happy with your choices, open the temple and discover the results of your efforts. Each room contains
No worries,
different
Hale.
challenges along with
Gotta
its
help.
rewards. On entering a room, the doors will slam shut behind you and you will need to face the encounter within. But choose wisely. It's important where you place the rooms to get maximum returns. For example, when placing a commander, you could just place it anywhere along an existing path, but a much better strategy is to place it next to a garrison of troops for him to command. With better leadership, the garrison will level up, making the monsters harder, but also more rewarding. Different rooms have different requirements for leveling up. For example, if you want to fully level up a smithy, you will need to supply it with golems from an adjacent golem works, and hook up a generator to the power network to supply it with power. After doing so, the golems will be powered up, making them much more dangerous.
That's pretty cool.
You don't need to memorize what interacts with what. When selecting a room, you will be shown the locations that will make other rooms level up, and exactly what effect it will have on the temple.
Okay.
After running the temple, a few of the rooms will destabilize and be removed. It will be up to you to rebuild the temple, adding 6 more rooms each time you come back, making the temple larger and larger and larger. So, that's the basic functionality of the temple, but there is a lot more. Once Doriani finds out about your travels to Laravan,
What do you have surgery on?
he will attempt to persuade you to take on a new mission. The temple entrance contains a prototype of the time portal device. It will be able to take you back in time, but only to one specific point, right before Edzeri triggered the cataclysm that destroyed the Vaal. He requests that you go back and attempt to stop Edzeri to prevent the Vaal from ever being destroyed.
For those that are playing Darktide, I have a Darktide video coming out tomorrow.
Edzeri is on the far side of the temple, so you will need to expand the temple significantly to get to her. And even worse, her chambers can only be unlocked by a room that isn't currently accessible to you. In order to deal with that, you are going to need to visit the architect of the temple. To get to him, you will need to place path rooms, but while doing so, you will probably want to exploit some of the Vaal technology only available in the past. Once you can travel into the past, a whole new set of rooms are available to you, and they have
Fucking
some
Wyvern,
pretty
dude.
insane rewards. At level 1, the corruption chamber can be used to corrupt a single item. But placing it next to a thaumaturge to run the place, and a sacrificial chamber to provide soul energy, you'll be able to level it up. And it's worth it. Because once you get the room to level 3, there are some very nice rewards to be had. In a level 3 corruption chamber, you will find this mysterious device. It has a slot to place an item, and it only accepts items that are already corrupted. What will happen to them? Well,
I haven't played. They only
normally
added one
once
new
an
act
item
or
is
2 new
corrupted,
acts.
You can't modify it any further. But this device allows you to corrupt your item a second time, adding another enchantment. This has the capability to craft some very powerful items indeed.
Twice
But be
corrupted.
warned, the Vaal are all about taking risks in the pursuit of power. There is a 50% chance that the item will be destroyed.
Oh, fuck. So I feel like you just
Each
never do
room
it.
has its own interesting mechanics and rewards when it levels up.
I bet you there's ways to
Many
mitigate
of them
that.
contain bosses to fight, special drops, and in many cases, new crafting opportunities.
Oh, corrupted skill gem.
For example, a level 3 alchemy lab has a nasty Vaal construct to fight. But if you can defeat it, you can find new corrupted soul cores. Like Guatalizi's Thesis, which on boots allows you to sacrifice your life to run faster. Or Sitaqualotl's Thesis, which on gloves will revive one of your minions whenever an offering expires.
I hope there's some minion stuff coming then.
Get a sacrificial chamber to level 3, and you will need to face a highborn priest of sacrifice. Defeat him to be able to further corrupt a Vaal unique, modifying it in unpredictable ways.
Hey, Bone Star, are you
One
watching?
of the mods of this unique will be removed and replaced with another random mod.
Oh.
For example, this Soul Mantle. It gives you an additional totem, but lowers your totem's life and curses you when they die. By using the machine, this could result in a terrible item if you remove the good mod, but also some amazing items if you replace the downside. Now, one extra thing to mention about these Vaal crafting machines. You don't have to take the items you want to craft into the temple.
I played it. It's not when I was on PC.
If you don't have the item you want to craft with you at the time, then clicking this button will allow you to create a currency item instead, allowing you to do the craft later or trade it if you want.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Now, there are all sorts of interesting rooms you can find in the temple, but the last one I want to show you today is the Flesh Surgeon. A Vaal Flesh Surgeon can be leveled up by placing him next to a high-level synth flesh lab. But be careful. The Flesh Surgeon has some rather unpleasant experiments in his personal lab.
Oh,
Afterwards,
shit.
you might notice the surgery table just sitting there. The Vaal are great at crafting items. Why not do some crafting on yourself? After laying down, you'll be asked which limb you'd like to replace. Left arm, perhaps your right leg. Each limb can get a different set of random bonuses, so choose wisely. After getting up from the table, try out your new limb. It seems to work fine, and even perform better than your normal one. Now, there is just one thing with replacing body parts. If you die and are resurrected, your body will return to its natural state. You might need to return to the Vaal Surgeons if you want another robot arm, and maybe get a better one next time. Some rooms, like the Commander, can give you a new type of reward.
That's
Medallions
sick.
that can be used.
So you have a
manipulate the
cybernetic
temple
that you
in
can
other
use. Like,
ways.
if you're playing hardcore, there's no reason not to do those.
Using a Queeper medallion will allow you to artificially boost a room, even if it
Oh,
doesn't
fuck.
meet
I
the
forgot to do
normal
a birthday
requirements to
stream.
level up.
I'll do it on Saturday.
And a Huatalotli's medallion will stop rooms from destabilizing when you complete a temple, allowing you to guarantee getting
Maybe
a
I'll play
reward
Space Marine.
a
Do
second
like
time.
community stuff, Space Marine.
Great if you want to stock up on double corrupts.
Can you guys tell
Now,
my allergies are
with
killing me?
all that aside,
Thanks.
time to
Thanks,
face
Beef.
the architect.
It was on the first.
And you will be in for a fight. Once defeated, you will find another console that can be used to modify the temple. But this one is special. It allows you to place new types of rooms with specific rewards. There are rooms with specific uniques, special runes, and currency. But also a few other, more niche crafting experiments. Like this one, that can extract the socket balls back out of an item, at the cost of destroying it. Now, something really important is every league we release a significant amount of content for the endgame. In order to make sure that the Fate of the Vaal works well for late game players, we've added many mechanics to make sure that you can scale the difficulty and rewards to match. Getting some rooms to level 3 adds extra mods to the entire dungeon, and these stack with each other. So in endgame, when you can get some really big temples, you can generate a challenge that can even match the strongest of characters. We also start to introduce ways to store up energy for the temple, allowing you to save up many runs so you can do
Thank
them
you guys.
later
Thank you,
at
thank you,
your
thank you.
leisure,
Just turned
not interrupt
38.
your mapping too often.
Most people
Now, in
don't say I'm
each league,
38. I love
it's
it.
important that we have a new pinnacle boss to test your character's might. In the Fate of the Vaal, you will get to face Adzeri.
I'm
while
glad
she
I
was
didn't
at the
play
peak
last
of her
patch.
power. One
Last
of the
patch didn't
rewards
seem
you'll
too
gain
cool
by
to me.
defeating the Architect is the ability to place the Royal Access Chamber. Once connected to your temple, you can visit it to finally reach the Queen of the Vaal herself. This fight takes place at a critical moment in history. right as Atzeri communes with the beast's power and takes her true corrupted form. Now, we are not going to show you the whole fight, but we will tempt you with one of the rewards. This is Atzeri's rule. This staff gives additional levels to all of your corrupted gems and lets you trade life for extra damage. But in addition to that, while using the staff, mirrors of refraction will constantly appear on the battlefield. Any projectile you fire at these will split into a nova, and they can chain from one to the other.
That's good to hear, Stick, because I played a Firewire.
That's the fate of the Vaal League. But we are also bringing the previous league, Rise of the Abyssal, into the core game.
Really?
Along with a few changes.
Now, for those of you who haven't seen what happens when a league is over, it's important to understand that you will not be seeing abysses in every area anymore. Rise of the Abyssal is now one of the league mechanics that can show up randomly in Endgame. If you want to specialize in running abysses, there is now a tablet that will allow you to add them to any map you run. You can also craft the tablet to add abyss-specific mods to enhance how they function. Now that Abyss is core, it also needs its own Atlas tree. You can gain your first points by completing an Abyss. But there are more available for doing depths and killing certain bosses. And there are a bunch of different options. You might just want more monsters and bosses. But you can also make finishing an Abyss have a chance to overrun a nearby map with the Abyssal. Or make your Waystone modifiers also apply to Abyssal depths. You could specialize in the interaction with other leagues, or specialize in a specific Abyssal faction. One of the important elements that we have heard loud and clear is that needing to do Abyss crafting on Waystones is quite annoying. So, we have removed that. In fact,
I guess that's good.
We have removed instilling from Waystones as well. This mechanic felt mandatory on maps because it boosted the value of all other content, but it was both annoying to do and resulted in a lot of visual clutter. Instead, we are bringing back some of that power on tablets, which you don't need to craft nearly as often, since they last for 10 maps each.
That's cool.
Once you defeat the Arbiter of Ash, you will be able to upgrade tablets to a rare with 4 mods using regular currency.
Oh.
Even this isn't enough to fully bring back the power you could have gotten from instilling, so we have also
Because tablets were only upgraded a certain way before, and I can't remember how it was.
Going forward, we're not going to be adding any more crafting directly to Waystones outside of the basic currency, because it adds too much micromanagement.
I love that. I love that.
But on that note, Fate of the Vaal does bring the ability to corrupt your tablets, hoping to get one of many different random outcomes.
That's sick.
Now, with regard to Delirium Fog,
I like that. It makes base currency have more longevity in the late game, right? Because you think about how currency just falls off beyond a certain point. Like, only certain currency is worthwhile. That's really cool.
Another big source of problems in the endgame is the feeling of getting overwhelmed with monsters.
Oh.
In 031, we reduced the number of monsters in early endgame in order to help with this, but still scaled up the number of monsters to previous levels by the time you got to tier 15.
Oh!
Well, after letting this simmer for a while, we are still getting this kind of feedback. So we are no longer going to scale up the number of monsters you go as you get deeper into the endgame. Instead, we are scaling up the difficulty and rewards by the same amount. So to be clear, instead of increasing the number of monsters by 40%, they will instead drop 40% more items, grant 40% more experience, and have 40% more life, in addition to all the normal scaling they get due to being higher level. This only applies to regular monsters, not bosses. We have also reduced the speed modifiers that monsters can get sometimes, which also helps a lot with this.
That's good. Thank you, God.
Now,
My
we
allergies
did
are
have
really
a
rough.
large amount of content for endgame planned for 040, but unfortunately we just didn't get time to finish it. The scope was a bit too large, and so we'll need to wait until 050 for that. But rest assured, there will be a ton of upgrades for the existing leagues, as well as new pinnacle bosses, and a significant overhaul to the Atlas passive tree coming soon. Now, another problem that becomes a much bigger issue in the endgame is game performance. And we have done a lot of work here. The primary issue is CPU load. And to address that, a lot of things have been optimized. And we have done a lot of work to take advantage of more of your CPU cores. You should see frame rates of at least 25% higher. And a lot less bad frame spikes during gameplay. It does make quite a big difference, especially on consoles. A lot more work in this area is ongoing, and you will continue to see performance improvements over the next few months.
That's huge.
Of course, another important area is game balance, and we have made a lot of changes. Now, most of these we will save for the patch notes, but I'll do a quick summary of some of the numbers. As well as adding 11 new unique items, we have rebalanced dozens of others that are not currently used very often. We've also done a pass over lineage supports. 21 of them have been rebalanced, as well as adding 9 more. Alongside the 2 new Druid ascendencies, we have made balance changes to almost all the others, with some of them getting a grander rebalance, such as the Smith of Katava. Alongside the 20+ new Druid skills, we've also rebalanced 90 other active skills across all the different classes.
Love it.
And to top it all off, there are also over 250 new passive skills added to the passive tree.
Damn.
These changes should go a long way to increase the viability of many more skills, uniques, and
I think
overall build variety.
Almost the entire strength intelligence tree is probably entirely different now.
Next up, we're going to be talking about our new supporter packs.
Yeah, I'd get more money for me,
we're launching
sure.
2 new series of supporter packs, the Precursor and Kalgurin packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Precursor series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. First up, the Marble Statue character effect. Once you finally stay still for a moment, a podium rises up out of the ground to immortalize you, turning your skin to marble.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty
when you
cool.
next move, the stone crumbles around you. The Precursors had mastery over gravity manipulation. So too can you, now with the Gravity Well portal. Witness the power of its pull as you approach it. Draw in enemies with your own gravitational pull with the Awakened Precursor armor set. The Precursors designed and built many mysterious ancient beings. This one used to serve as a scout that would patrol and tase intruders. Why salvage gear yourself when the Master of the Forge can do it for you? Molten gold spills out as the Forge Master breaks down your items.
That's cool. I need to spend more time with like the hideout.
Map device is a mysterious machine that sits atop ancient colossal statues. It keeps track of the number of charges consumed on your Precursor tablets used in the device. The Kalgurin pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Oh.
The Kalgurins had astounding skill in astronomy, being able to track cosmic events with absolute precision. Harnessing
I'm
that
gonna
skill
buy them. I mean,
with the astronomer's level
tax
up
right
effect
off.
equipped, you too can now see
But
exactly
hopefully it
how
gives
long
me
took you to level up
codes
as
to
it
give
now
away.
puts the time in chat. The time taken to reach your last 3 levels is also displayed on the item, so you can link it when you have a time you're proud of.
That's pretty cool.
Crush unique enemies by unleashing the wrath of the lost Kalgurin fleet, led formerly by Captain Heartland himself. A Kalgurin seafarer needs armor fit for the treacherous seas of Rayclast. This set has you covered with the classic tricorn, and of course,
Was there an armor set in the previous
lost
one? I didn't see
treasure
that.
Weapon skins top off your appearance of a true raider of the seas. These gilded weapons can be applied to wands, 2-hand maces, and shields. After a long day of plundering loot, retreat to the Kraken's Cove hideout, a home of some of the most deadly ocean-dwelling creatures in Rayclast. Many ships have met their demise here. What better to accompany you in Kraken's Cove than a kraken itself? Replace your stash with a dormant kraken waiting for its prey. As you approach, it will awaken and terrify both you and any guests in your hideout. Alongside this, an extra stash skin item will be granted to you, and when placed, will automatically open to any stash tab set with the currency affinity, to help having to navigate through your tabs. Additionally, any microtransactions from these supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 1. Thank you very much for all your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, at 11 AM NZ time, we'll post the patch notes. With release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release. Keep an eye on the news. Thanks for joining us today and checking out our latest developments.
Those patch notes are when?
We're looking forward to playing alongside our fellow shapeshifting exiles, all while uncovering lost Vaal secrets by doing some dungeon crafting. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.
Today? Good.
Welcome back, Exiles, to the Q&A portion. I am your host, Ziggy D, and today we're going to be touching on the design of the Druid and the fate of the Vaal League while we gather some community questions.
Oh, December 12th.
Endgame, balance, and
patch notes December 12th?
Topics. I am, of course, joined by game directors Jonathan Rogers and Mark Roberts. How you guys going today?
Oh,
I do.
very
Thank you,
good.
Pete. I am.
It's been a great one to work on this one. Like, I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's definitely great to see you again.
I'm just hoping that they talk a little bit about
no time at all since the last time you were here with the PoE1
yeah, patch is on the 12th, but the patch notes.
Several weeks, and that's pretty accurate.
yeah.
We get to see you twice as often now, so that's fun.
Yeah, I'm around every 2 months or so now, roughly. It's great. I love it. Let's keep going. So I do have to open with this, though. Is like, Druid looked a little bit weak, I think, in the demonstration video today.
Yeah, I think one of the issues that we have is like we're so concentrating on like just demonstrating how the mechanics work that we sort of forget to be like, okay, let's actually make sure the damage numbers that we're doing on this like test character we're filming here are actually like in line with what people actually normally expect. So yeah, there's just a few things there that we probably should have caught and made a little stronger there. But yeah, when you actually play it, it's certainly from the alpha feedback incredibly powerful. Like
yes.
you know we were seeing some people say, oh, you know, the wolf looks weak or whatever. Well, I can assure you that on alpha there's a bunch of people saying the wolf is super OP. So you know, it just comes down to the things you go through in order to demonstrate stuff.
I think we probably going to be worthwhile. We make some videos showing a bit more of the less demonstratey side and get them posted and stuff this week. Because honestly, you can just play it literally right now, and it's you know.
Yeah, I've definitely been playing and recording a bit myself because I was like, when I first watched it as well, the draft, I was thinking,
I'm writing down questions and answers for a video now.
Like to actually play it. Like there's good demonstration here of the mechanics, but yeah, I can understand how from your perspective it'd be pretty easy to be like, oh, we want to communicate how this cool thing works and this cool thing works.
There's a fine line there for sure. Where if you get too hectic, people are like, I don't even know what's going on. They're just looking at a ruckus. And then, yeah, in this case, let's say we went on a little too far on the other side of the line, was just a bit too slow. And as a result, yes, it can look a bit weak, but...
yeah, I think we'll try and get some like raw Druid gameplay out to people to understand it. I think particularly for this class, because of the shape-shifting stuff, it's so hard for us to... Normally we can look at something and be like, oh, that's just a demonstration. We kind of know what it would look like at Endgame. But I think with the Druid, it's just so unusual. It's so different that it's actually hard to judge what it would feel like to even play it. And I'm happy for my hands-on to say that like it's almost immediately like very smooth, the shape-shifting of it, the movement of it, especially because like in your demonstrations, you're not really using dodge, roll, sprint, that sort of thing as well, which makes a big difference.
I suppose one of the things we didn't really dwell on in the video as well is that we do actually have dodge roll. I mean, they're not actually rolls for the animals, but yeah, all the animals can like hop around and that kind of stuff.
So that's cool because
things that was like
it used to be
initially we actually had it so when you dodge rolled, you would transform them back into a human. The reason we did that is because it's really hard to make animations for animals that like actually work correctly. Like we actually thought it was impossible, but then when we actually put it on alpha, there was the kind of visceral reaction of I want to still be a bear.
I don't think everyone is down with a Druid like I am.
Around. So we ended up having to like work out like how can we make this possible? How can we make it so that you can actually do the dodge rolling with an animal? And that sort of ended up being pretty good, I would say.
And this was like clearly the hardest class to design so far, and it took a bit longer. Like I think you were originally hoping to bring it out in a previous
Yeah, quite a while ago. But the thing is with it is that it's kind of like designing 4 classes in one, because not only do you have the situation where, obviously we want to have synergy between skills and stuff like that, and we can like look at that in a normal class and work out what those might be. But with this class, people want to be able to play just as a bear or just as a wolf, as well as people who want to play like dual with a human and a wolf, or people who just want to be a wolf and a bear, and like all the different combinations. So we had to kind of come up with a way for like each line needs to be self-sufficient and that it's got all the tools that you need. But at the same time, you have to not have it so it feels like there's just duplication between them. We're like, oh, like this is just the same thing as what a bear has, but you know, you are a wolf instead. So we kind of have to like, it's like you need all the tools, and yet you also need to have them feel different. And that just made it really, really tricky to get all of the things right with it. Then it didn't also help that, since the last time we were working on the Druid, way back when we showed it off in Gamescom 2023, we had WSD. And that is a whole other complication because, you know, like how can we make that work with the animal forms? It's like a whole thing. You know, like I'll tell you the Wyvern, for example, like we had a hell of a time making it so that you could do the ranged attacks because you need to be able to walk while you're doing it. The Wyvern's sitting there with its arms like planted on the ground, you know, like being able to walk while also spitting it. Yeah,
this is kind of what they were talking about last patch. They like,
so yeah, it was just a very tricky class.
We couldn't get the Druid off.
I remember seeing some goofy
because of the relationship between movement and animation.
This is not working.
Right. Well, I also remember like for a long time the wolf was just like a dancing dog. It was just like it looked really silly. And like man, the wolf as well. I mean, it was really hard to get right, and because one of the things we really wanted to avoid was I didn't want that too much of that whole like man in a wolf suit vibe. Like I wanted to actually get the feeling of like this is an actually different animal, which I think with the bear and the wyvern's way easier. With the wolf, it's like it's really hard not to just go back into that. So we had a lot of questions about like what even the locomotion was. How does it walk? Are we going to walk on 2 legs? Are we going to walk on 4? We ended up splitting the difference. You can do both, right? Like you get that when you're attacking and you can be upright walking on 2 legs. When you're walking, you run on 4, and you actually do get a speed boost while you're on 4 legs. Like as a wolf, just so after like 1 second of walking, you go down on 4 legs. You start moving a bit faster. So yeah, it's
actually
pretty cool.
An interesting thing there, I don't think is each form technically has a kind of passive benefit.
Right.
So obviously you got the running fast as a wolf. Can't remember exactly what the wyvern ones were, but like for the bear, for example, because you're just a bit bigger, you know, a bit of a tank. You actually do get armor, and armor applies to elemental damage as a thing, and like you know, there's a kind of which is like honestly, unless you actually click the bear keyword, is like undescribed everywhere.
Well, it was even more than that because I was just looking.
What does the wyvern have?
The bear has like passive endurance charge generation.
Yes, it does. From rage expenditure, it does.
I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah. So we really wanted to make sure that each of the different forms had things that can benefit the other forms. So like it was really tricky to think like, what are resources that a bear can generate? What are the resources that wolf can generate? What are the ones the wyvern can generate that the other ones can then use in order to kind of get that cross synergy? So that's kind of like one of the reasons why we had to kind of come up with all that stuff. And part of the trickiness.
And that caught me by surprise as well, because like technically it's mentioned, but I never really fully understood
Stickman.
the idea that you can swap between the forms, like human to animal and back. Yeah, I figured that's
well,
what's
what
going
did he
on
say
here.
the passive for wyvern was? Just that it can fly?
Transform to a bear mid slam.
You absolutely
oh, he said he wasn't sure.
The
Okay.
thing with this is that you want to present a fantasy to someone as far as like what the UI is pushing you towards and all that sort of stuff. Like there are going to be a lot of people who are like, I want to be a bear, and they just pick bear stuff and they go all bear, right? But at the same time, we're unconstrained in the sense that you can pick all the other stuff. You can use it at the same time. So one talisman, like effectively when you pick on a talisman from like wolf, bear, or wyvern, what that's giving you is the default attack, right? That's what you're actually picking, and that's all it is, right? And that often will guide you, like what skills you're picking and so on, but you can just use with that same talisman as many different animal skills as you would like. That just means that you've got that sort of free-flowing, like, you know, trying out different stuff, sort of combo gameplay that we like to try and get. So, obviously there will just be a lot of people who just pick one thing, right? Like I absolutely expect that. There's a lot of experimentation to do there if you want to do it.
Yeah, so you've tried to hit like
that was really fast,
making it so like people who just want like a simple, straightforward, like I just want to run out as bear and slam the ground, like that's certainly very possible there. But also you with this whole class, you have
I'm confused. Is the relationship between talisman,
a melee attacker that's shapeshifter as well,
creature, and skill not connected?
For sure.
Is he saying you could be a bear using all of the skills, or is it? I'm under the impression that
just one
bears,
thing
wyvern, and
everything else.
wolves
it's always
have
tricky,
skills,
Mark's
and
obviously
that's
the
what
one who
morphs
has a
you
lot of
into
Vaal
them.
stuff, but I can see, even just from a design perspective, so I just throw over the fence all my horrible stuff, and then you're like, how the hell am I going to balance this? Effectively, like, so even with the spellcaster side, so one of the things we initially wanted with the spellcasting is a lot of it's like over time type effects that, so for example, with the volcano being the really obvious one, right? Like you can create this thing, and then you can turn into an animal and do other stuff at the same time. So we needed on the human side a lot of things that last for a long time. But the problem you then run into when you actually go to balance the thing is like, okay, well, if you've just got like 5 damage over time style spells, why not just cast all of them and then you don't have to ever do anything else, right? Like, so it's like that kind of stuff makes it really hard. So then you have to start thinking, okay, we want to make it so that you cast a long-term thing as a human, but then being an animal is going to augment that so that it improves it. So for example, with the tornado, it's got a similar mechanic to the little twisters that the hunters have, where ground effects can empower it with extra elemental stuff. And so then we're like, okay, well, if the animal forms are the ones that can create the ground effects, then that means that you're kind of like, you're going to want to do, like, to mix that with the tornado, you now have to have both the animal forms and the spellcaster stuff if you want to get all of that together. So it's just a lot of that thinking about how can an animal form aid a spell, how can a spell aid an animal form, like all the way through. And then, as I said, we throw it over the fence, and then Mark tries to work out what kind of numbers can actually make it
it's a web of infinite difficulty, right? Because like we're talking about the 4 forms within the class, but each of these skills also synergizes with every other class and every other skill in the game, and it just it's becoming growingly more complicated. But that's also what's fun about the game, and what all the things you can unlock and the crazy builds you can do. But yeah, I mean, like this week's focus has been like, okay, we had all the, like during our alpha testing and internal testing, we had like, there was the I want to be all forms going between, there was the I just want to be wolf, I just want to be bear, I just want to be a dragon, and now we're getting a lot more of I just want to cast nature plant skills and do plant stuff. And so it's like, okay, well, how do we make that work? Well, because they're quite long duration, so we're having a bunch of complexity with that as well. And it honestly it does just spiral into like, oh my God, there's 20 million variables here. But it's fun. And at the end of the day, as long as it is honestly fun to play, then honestly we're golden. So, I would say we're pretty much there on almost everything with this class. I'd actually say we're a little bit more prepared than normal. We've had a lot of testing. Despite, I mean, partly because it's been in the works for so long. But yeah, it's, I don't know, like ultimately pretty fun. I'd say there's still something, obviously there's still more to do. There's obviously always more to do.
Earnest disciple.
Thank you so much for following
there's a
me,
lot
man.
going on, a lot of enjoyment. I saw yesterday, I was just like walking past someone's computer and, someone was mentioning like, yeah, it's just fun placing 6 volcanoes and then just slamming on them. I was like, all right, sweet, you do you. Like, that's fine.
I was definitely enjoying obliterating bosses in bear form, like with dropping tornadoes, and there's the totem which you can summon in animal form, and then you're putting fishes down and they're exploding, and you're putting extra things on the ground and they're exploding. And there's definitely some boss deletion going on there. So
that's cool. I thought you had to go back into human to do that.
Just many entangles going out, and then there's that plant support general. Like, all right, it's putting the new.
I see chat being like, no, Zig, you don't get it nerfed. I do have to admit that I did already get one thing, let's say fixed. There was a thing that was like double generating rage. So I'm like, I don't know if this was intended. Right. And like, no, the designer said that's probably not intended. Thanks, Ziggy. And I'm like,
I don't know. I will see where that goes, because I was like, no, that's fine.
This is a fish.
It made it to me, and I was like, no, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because it generates rage when you first slam, and then the fishes, every time they pulse, it generates rage. I'm like,
oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit, I didn't even know that.
Because like the totem's making it pulse, and that's generating rage.
Right.
I'm like, that doesn't seem intentional.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I love that, because that's like ridiculously powerful. That feels like way permissive. I was like, this feels illegal, but that's like, you gotta let a few things in there that feel illegal.
It's doing what the skill says.
I may not have. Maybe I didn't get enough. Okay, cool.
I don't know. They might have changed it. I'll find out afterwards. I just throw my opinion in there. I don't want to necessarily be like, I try and make sure with a lot of these balanced discussions, it's not like, I'm just an authority on the matter. I want to actually discuss these things through, because maybe it isn't actually fine, but my first instinct is like, let it run wild. Like, what's the problem? So
yeah, you gotta.
We'll see what happens, but whatever. They don't know what the problem is, so don't worry. Oh, now they do. Thanks, you ruined it. Now people will know if it changed, and now
they'll see the thing not generating rage, and they'll see that line of text. Now that's the Ziggy line of text. I'm developing a reputation now. It's just helping finding bugs. It's okay. So, like the shapeshifting stuff comes from this trinket.
Could you imagine if they
the animal talisman?
Oh, okay.
And is there any limitation just kind of like putting that on another class and just say like, I am playing my Mace Marauder or my Quarterstaff Monk and I want to do a Wolf Leap Slam that marks targets?
You can do it. In fact, it was one of the things initially that, it's funny with the audio team, because initially like, oh, we want to record like bear lines for the Druid the whole time. And I'm like, hey guys, remember, anyone can turn into this animal. Are you actually going to commit to every single class is going to have like three different extra versions of every single line the character can deliver? It's like, that's a bit tricky. So we ended up going with a voice mod in the end. But that was one of those.
It's like their thoughts. I think it shifts to. It almost sounds like, to me, that's what it sounds like. They're like, they're thinking it or something like that. I don't know.
But it would have been completely impossible to record every single line an additional 3 times for every character class.
Voice actors, everybody come back and we need to roar like a bear.
Exactly. Effectively, every class can be an animal. It's exactly the same as the weapon restriction. Ultimately, being a bear is the same as having a mace, which may sound a little bit odd, but that is actually how it works and what allows having.
Whoa. I didn't even think about that. Wait, so you can use mace skills while in bear?
No. What I meant was that it's the same. I mean, it's the same in the sense that it's
the
just
style
a weapon type,
of it.
Right?
Yeah. Damn it, now we have to make that possible.
Well, I mean, you can turn into Calm as a bear.
That's unique item territory for the future.
It often gets talked about like the idea of like, why are things like so weapon locked? And I've always maintained the position that you guys want to kind of do that as much as possible initially, and then in the future you can blur the lines a little bit. Like there's maybe in the future you're like, maybe this skill has a way of crossing over.
We can do, but the thing is, a lot of the identity of a weapon type really comes a lot from what it can do, and so that's the main reason why we do it that way. But but the thing is as well with the weapon swapping, you can still use skills from different elements. Different weapons and things like that.
The thing is, like, it's funny that you mentioned that with the bear, because like definitely some of the bears, I noticed parallels between some of its skills and some of the mace stuff, and I could see absolutely combining like this bear skill that places fishes with the other stuff on the mace that triggers the fishes. Like there's like very obvious like cross synergy build.
Well, I mean, they're adjacent classes, right? I mean, you've got like strength versus strength int. Like we want to be able to make sure that some of those key elements do like cross over, just so that to open up the way to have synergy between the different classes more easily.
Well, as you get more classes and more skills, you obviously get an overlap of the kind of mechanics and keywords and stuff, iterating, and thus they will always cross-synergize.
Steadfast support.
Where there still will be new things a class offers, yes. There's always
like the bear has a lot of jagged ground, a lot of seismic stuff, fire, slam.
Now you added plants.
A lot of the stuff that the mace does.
And there's a plant keyword that has overgrown as a keyword.
It's interesting actually, those ones, because they're on completely opposite sides of the tree. You've got dex versus strength int, and that's been a little bit hard to kind of like get the where the mechanic should go on one side versus the other. So where we ended up going is that the nature side of things for plants on the strength int is like you've got the poison on the dex side versus the kind of like just pure nature like physical damage spells on the on the strength int side. But that's been fun though, because now it's actually been really fun designing the supports, because the more classes we have, the more we can start to think, okay, like here's a support that's for something obscure. How can we make it so this can apply to some other kind of thing on the opposite side of the tree, where like now you've got some interesting interaction. So there could be some kind of like thing where growing plants as a ranger could be sort of something. I mean, like I can't say I've tested the potential there myself, but like
that's what I was thinking about. Can you make a ranger with this character?
Like stuff all has mechanics,
and I'd love
watering the.
It'd be cool if they built into the passive
like a thing. They all have ways that works.
I mean, that definitely opens up interesting party.
It'd be interesting if they built into the passive a way to jump to another portion of the tree.
Like a druid watering.
That's the thing. It's easily a thing. It's not even hard to do as well.
Right.
It's kind of just like, thanks, druid, you buffed poison rangers.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, good. Yes, and the rain buffing lightning skills as well, like increasing shock chance. It's pretty wild how much stuff you've just jammed into one class here. How did you like kind of settle on a identity for the Wyvern in particular? I feel like people know what a bear is, people know what the wolf is.
Yeah, fuck, I ain't gonna look at fucking Total War, bro.
Established as like, you got plants and you got like nature and you got like lifting up the earth, that sort of stuff.
Well, we really wanted to have a third form that was a little bit out there.
You mean the game that will be free? And if you want to test the game, it costs money. Yeah, back that game.
The bear and the wolf, right? That's just like the staple. But and actually, for that, funnily enough, for that reason, we couldn't not do it. There was actually a period there where we weren't going to have a wolf because we were a little bit unhappy. Yeah, with us, and it's just like, well, exactly, right? That was the reaction. That was the reaction of like all the furries come out of the woodwork and like, you gotta have a wolf.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare, exactly, right? So we're like, okay, we'll have a, yeah, exactly. Don't anger them. So that was a real concern. So we decided to go. We needed two familiar, and then we needed one that was a little bit more out there. And really, when we were looking at the bear and the wolf, it was kind of like we want the slower, harder hitting.
It's all primal stick. That's all in the primal section.
Like speedy kind of version, obviously being the wolf. We also wanted something that had some range elements, and then a sort of more spellcastery vibe a little bit more. And so we sort of thought about it a little bit like, what animal is ranged? Like, it's not really, there's kind of not a lot out there that can really sort of do that. And so, eventually we settled on the Wyvern. I mean, someone of course at one point was like, how about a dragon? And we're like, what the heck? What are you talking about? But then eventually I thought about it, and it's like, actually, you know what? There's some potential here.
If you suggested to me, I told you not to do it because like there's no way you could make it look good and not look stupid. But
it eventually it was hard though. We did get there.
It actually looks pretty cool. But it's kind of a spell blade almost. Like, it's got a bit of range stuff, but it's got a bit of like spell kind of melee thing.
I think Templar is going to be the spell blade.
Be for strengthened.
Yeah, and you were asking what the passive buffs were. I was looking at it before. It's like, it's got buffs to freeze, shock, and energy regeneration actually, as well. Like energy recharge, I think.
It's a shame you knew. The reason I was actually being vague is I knew what they were. I just wanted to change them.
Okay, well, I mean, that's fine. Do something
Sorry for my slight disingenuousness.
Do something cool.
I kind of feel like they shouldn't. I didn't want them to be offensive benefits.
Yeah, they're supposed to be defensive.
It forces you into certain build types. Whereas
this is, he's talking about the passives for the forms.
That way they will work across all board. That's my general philosophy. So I was like, I feel like I want to have a go at trying to design the energy shield thing. I don't mind. I wanted to have a go at designing stuff that's more utility or defensive only, and that way you don't feel like, oh, I should have to play lightning or fire because it gets the passive benefits. That way, if you wanted to do a kind of weird out there thing, it doesn't feel so bad, but we'll see what I come up with.
Do you have an idea, or are you still figuring it out?
Nah, I got no clue. I don't know. You could play on the fact it's got, like, wings to, something defensive for block, or something for...
would like to be added?
Hard
Marauder for sword,
or,
Assassin for dagger.
It has wings, something to do with the
Templar for flail.
I got like a book that my daughter really likes to read that's like full of dragon lore. I'll send you some ideas.
All right, sweet, yeah. Dragon, they hoard gold, right? Gold finds. Yeah,
totally.
That sounds like it.
Eat piles of gold for buffs or something.
There's gold over there. Quick shapeshift, pick it up. Shapeshift.
Remember, Assassin's going to be like,
I'm obviously joking,
Nightshade.
Like,
it's Dex Int.
Gold find, no, please don't. Mandatory dragon gold find build. I know that's kind of
Marauders and strength.
Distinctly PoE. So the Druid is this like strength int
Berserkers and strength. Sorry, Berserkers
the
strength.
Templar, we had the idea
and brings
of
axe.
You've got that armor energy shield stuff, but that's still the case here, as that's the strength int base. But I feel like the energy shield stuff is not as iconic to Druid. How have you incorporated that and made it feel like something that makes sense, or like in what ways have you incorporated that to the Druid? I feel like it's not obvious.
Yeah, look, it's a little bit off in terms of the feel there, but at the end of the day, we kind of don't really have many options as far as what we can do. I mean, like, that it is important for it to be
warrior,
that it has that,
acolyte,
energy shield
wizard,
approach.
monk.
There's a few sort of interesting.
This will be the 8th.
What do you call them? Spirit reservation gems. I don't know I can never remember what the official name of that is. That sort of interact with that stuff in a dual
They share
way,
the same portion stick. So that's why I'm like, are we going to talk about minions? I'm hoping he asks him a minion question.
Energy shield to generate armor, like, so when you lose energy shield, you get armor instead, and like it like creates little bits of bark on your skin. As you there's like things like that we've added, but it's a little bit of a thematically weird thing. I think probably the weirdest part about that is like, you're gonna have energy shield as a bear. It's a bit strange, like, getting hit as a bear and then there's a little energy shield pop. But I mean, it is what it is. It kind of has to be that way.
Well, you don't have to.
Well, I suppose, sure, you can get full armor if you want, but
well,
yeah.
I feel like because there's like such a range of identities.
It'd be cool if they made an energy shield convert to armor when you're in form.
There's definitely more armor stuff.
Yeah, so you could build more strength when you depending on what animal form.
But we've already talked about how armor is.
Wyvern potentially has
maybe it's different now.
It does.
But armor was just not good compared to
Wyvern
energy shield.
Does get the benefits to energy shield, and the bear does get the benefits to armor in order to kind of make it so you are like depending on what animal form you're going, there's a bit of alignment in the defenses there.
I mean, really, it's the tree that inspires and motivates this, right? Like, a sorceress could be on the bottom side of the tree and still have the same skill set, and
we're going to take a look at it in a sec, Stick. I was going to bring it up. We'll talk about some potential builds.
I mean, that's part of the beauty of the game as well.
Yeah, I mean, I had that experience where I was like, because it wasn't as clear, I was almost inventing my own lore there a little bit, where I was speccing the regen from the Druid, and then the Zealot's Oath right there. I'm like, oh, this actually like, you're converting your natural kind of like life regen into energy shield. Like, I was like, oh, this is kind
damage
of
with
the Druid's
flails
thing. Like,
yeah, I mean, that is a way for sure.
Yeah,
like,
so it's all
Keystone's
damage and speed related.
We have a bunch of, I think there's an extra. I can't remember what it's doing. There's one that says "Do not."
There's a minion thing
right
next to it though.
It's in progress.
It's called Holy Protector.
Some trying to have some armor, energy shield, more hybrid stuff.
Silent Guardian.
Keystones there. It was based on.
And there's one right before it too.
One's is it Divine Shield? Is that the name of the keystone? I can't remember. Too many names. But it's based on that, but not exactly the same. Like a derivative of that we're trying to get going. But yeah, it's just because I was like, we need more keystones that I feel more druidy, and I know there's a rage one there that is embracing the animal ferocity, where it like, what does it do? It's like doubles your maximum rage, but makes you don't get inherent bonuses from rage. So it's like, if you really want to do the skills that are rage consumers, like rampage, and you just want to rampage for as much time as possible, you obviously go for that keystone. You lose the benefits of rage, but you get to rampage around for twice as long. So a few things like that we're trying to add that are thematic as well. And I think that's another one of the really cool parts about adding a class is 1/6 of our tree was just filled with just placeholder garbage. Like, actually, like there is a giant link thing there. There's no links in the game, really. It's like, what are we doing with that? It's like, and so I was like, well, that looked like a vine. Just make that a plant thing. And, so now it's a plant thing that talks about overgrown plants. But we filled in that whole bit of the tree. And guess what? Now witches and sorceresses have more energy shield stuff on that kind of direction around towards the Druid.
Good.
And warrior has more, and and I don't just mean energy shield, I mean everything, all the mechanics, right? All the int mechanics are kind of there, the strength mechanics, everything. So
it is nice we finally have a class in every different part of this tree, so like we don't have this like weird open stuff anymore.
Because strength int has just been sitting there as basically a placeholder.
I mean, it's such a massive tree already, and you're adding more to it, and then like I have to wonder, like, you added this Oracle class. Like, I saw the Shaman one, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I expect. But then I saw the Oracle, and you guys had like 130 extra passes.
So far.
Like, why do you do this to yourself? Like, that seems ridiculous.
It's fun.
Because it's cool.
Okay.
Because it's cool.
That's
really
the
is
best reason you could ask for, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I really went through, I mean, I know we showed 2 examples, but I was like, I really want to make sure there's like cool off-spec stuff here. I want to make sure that if you want to be able to get more of a certain thing, this is a way to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, it still costs passive points to allocate, right? So it's more about, maybe you want some stuff that normally you'd have to go to the deck section for and get, maybe some projectile related stuff, and now you can get it up there because it allows for some kind of weird off class. And it was all themed around, if you got to live your life again, what would you change? Like, what different paths would you take?
That's pretty cool.
And so it's this interesting,
how you can pull off spec, like he said.
Existential crisis is
passive.
That fits period.
Initially, I always write my little blurbs about them to get them in the live stream, and I was like, it's got all the passives not yet added to the game. I thought it was an interesting way of looking at it. Not that that's actually how it is, but I thought it was like a kind of, it's like lessons you learn, you get to now
I think it was Pounce that someone's more wolf stick.
A cool thematic thing that linked to the class. And it's easy, by the way, as designers to see that kind of thing and go, we have a million things to do. Like, is that really like that's too much time, too much work, right? And I'm just like,
sad, isn't it?
If we say that about everything, you get nothing cool.
Yeah.
And so it's that, and I mean, even the shamans, like runes revealing hidden powers, like we're setting ourselves up for a large amount of cumulative time over a while, right? Any rune we add, anything like we have to add and consider the shaman stats,
well.
and that's another whole axis of things. We have to meta balance every league, and same with the Oracle passives. And every time we change the tree, and like when we eventually add the Templar, we're going to have to relocate all those nodes because that tree's going to get a giant. Now we've got 2.5 classes in one section, but it's worth it. It is actually worth it. You add so many builds, so many cool things, and if you don't want to deal with it, just pick another class. It's fine. You know, you don't have to, or pick other nodes on the same class. You know, you don't have to take that node. So
I think this like very clearly communicates that you're also okay with this idea of there being just like hidden cool stuff to discover that you're not going to know ahead of time, because you can't like look at the class options on the character selection screen and know what the passives are going to be. That
yeah, right. Well, they can do this now.
The Oracle ascendancy, right? So, it's like,
So, did anyone see?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's always going to be community tools, and they're going to come up with a way to make that, you know, to the build guides and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, like,
I love the secret stuff. I actually got my secret Abyssal Lich.
Yeah, wild.
It was an actual final secret, and maybe there's more. Well, you want to do more of
that, don't you? I can tell. Look at him. He wants to do more.
Of course, I love it. I love people having cool secret things they can find, and it isn't just like 1000% pre-planned out of the gate. Like, I understand the need to plan. I understand the need to have confidence in a build, and you don't want to go in and only realize you've made the wrong decisions and stuff like that, for sure. But I definitely want to find that balance where you have that while you also get your cool secrets that you get to add to the game that are fun.
Yeah. I think there's like a couple more chat questions on Druid, but we'll try and move on to the other stuff soon, because I know people want to talk about the other thing. I could talk about Druid all day. I think the design's super interesting here. But some of the questions were that I think people are a bit confused about like the talismans and the forms and how that stuff works. So the talismans are effectively just like another weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
And things like attack speed, movement speed on gear and everything
Patch
will
notes.
affect you in your movement.
Absolutely.
Animal forms. It's not like, I think because a lot of other games do it where when you change form, like all of a sudden, oh, your weapon's not affecting you, or this thing's not affecting you.
Well, I mean, effectively, so we're doing the changing form by utilizing weapon swaps. So you've got 2 weapon sets inherently, and the talisman effectively serves as your weapon. Yeah, like if you're playing a druid, you are going to have to learn how to use weapon specialization passives and stuff like that if you want to have the spellcaster and melee thing. Now, a lot of the passive tree nodes, like in the druid section of the tree, all have like attack and spell damage and that kind of stuff. So like certainly for most of the start of the class, you won't have to worry about it. But as you get deeper in, and if you want to do hybrid spell attack, you are going to have to think about like, okay, what are my attack passives, what are my spell passives, and do that.
I was actually surprised at how simple and straightforward it was to do. So like the weapon specialization tree thing, you still do need to think about and understand how that works. But the basics of it, like using the actual skills, just happens automatically. Like I never have to actually go in and
no. You don't have to worry about that part. Just because of the fact that because this has always been the rule, but it's really apparent here. Like if it'll swap to the weapon set that can use the ability. So therefore you don't have to actually tweak it. You just put it in and it kind of works.
Like if I tried to use my spell, it would shift to human automatically and use the staff. So like that was all automated.
Did I not see them talk about that portion?
Like that.
Right.
Like I have on some other builds, I guess, where it's a bit.
Mostly that's just because you get into a situation with those where because it's usable on both. Now you have to start going in there and tweaking that stuff. But because it makes it much simpler when you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, so there's a decent onboarding there, given the potential complexity of that. All right, so we'll move on now to the Fate of the Vaal expansion, and there's definitely more of a like clear divide between the two things, and you even actually made 2 separate trailers. This time.
I know.
Well, it would have been so weird to have these like 2 completely clashing things.
I know in the 2003 video, they talked about human and shapeshift having specialization trees, where you can kind of do it like you can with weapon sets. Did they talk about that being present in this? I didn't see anything for that. And he was just going into how, hey, it's about the weapon specializations, and as you swap between those different abilities, between like your talisman and your casting, it's going to swap automatically. That makes me think that's back online, but I didn't see anything for it. So as a druid, do I use just my talisman and cast spells with just my talisman? Or as a druid, do I have to... 2023 video. It's 2023 video. Yeah, I didn't think so, right, Kunj? Okay, good. As a druid, though, do I have to switch between my talisman and my staff? to cast spells. I guess I'm a little confused there now at that interaction. I thought all my spells came from my talisman, and the talisman is the primal. That's what it is. I think they're talking about, in that instance, they're talking about breaking out, hey, I want to be a ranger that uses a talisman. Okay, then you'd use your weapon specs, and you'd use the different things. Into, okay.
Like, you know, literally the first area. And it's like some eldritch entity is immediately recruiting.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense.
This rusty thing in your body.
Exactly, right. So we kind of wanted to try and make sure that there's a little bit more like it doesn't feel like the world is on your shoulders like right from the get go. Like there's actually like a little bit a growth of epicness throughout the league. So like if we'd have had it, so it's like your time travel into the past, like the moment you walk out the gate, it's like okay, it's just not quite right. So we decided what we'll do is we'll make so that, you know, there is the temple. We've got a kind of like almost a baby version of the mechanic where you've got a lesser number of rooms, like it's kind of a bit simpler, like to start out with. And then once you pass the sort of key point in the storyline, then it like really opens up. You go into the past, you've got a little more story stuff going on. It did add quite a lot more work to kind of have to make 2 versions of a bunch of things and that kind of stuff. But I think it was worth it because it means that it feels like the league has a lot more going on. It just doesn't kind of break you don't break immediately the feeling of the world.
Stickman, did you see patch notes? Are they
very strong opinions on this one?
Today at 2 p.m. or set date?
Like horror, gothic, secondary, 3 dimensions deep of, you know, like I'm in the past or in some sort of demon realm now. I don't know what's going on here.
And I mean, it's fine as you go, but this is actually one of the challenges I think we're going to have just designing leagues generally, is that they're going to require a bit more work to make them feel right. I mean, even just something as simple as like the Vaal sacrifice circles that you get throughout the world. Normally what we would have done is like make one thing and call it a day. Here what we've done is we've got like 10 or
they usually do,
a ton of variations of those where for like each act we're like, in like for each area we're thinking like, okay, which like we need more of these so that we can use them so they feel natural in the place where they are, like do a bit of material reskin, stuff like that. Like that's kind of the stuff that we now need to do to sort of make it feel like you're not breaking
anymore at all. So like we want to make sure that these things are way more believable.
Right.
Like you are actually convinced, you're like, you know, this makes sense. You know, I'm not just in a basement in the mudflat in a swamp, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the Vaal is a very distinct thing, and it's very like tied to Act 3 as well. So I was a bit worried about like the tone of Act 1 with the Vaal stuff, but then like it fits in reasonably well. Like you've definitely taken good care to make
How many classes left after Druid?
It's a matter of making it feel like
Templar, Assassin, Marauder.
Might went there and they built some stones around it because they're like, well, what is this
thing?
like,
Assassin goes here.
A little bit about like how would the culture here have reacted to the fact that there was this ancient ruin from long ago in this location and that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay, interesting. And you mentioned to me that this is the bar for what you want to be doing. This is the quality level for what you want to be doing.
So I'd say that like
it said it right at the end there, and I was trying to parse all the information.
I would say here, like the level of polish and the stuff that we're doing, like the amount of content that a league needs to actually be good. Like, you know, obviously when we did 020, the league was a little bit like, you know, it was just the Asmerian spirits, and like, I mean, it was a league, but it wasn't really, didn't have like the depth of content and stuff that you needed. And then with 030, I think we did a lot better. Like it came a lot better, but I still don't think we quite got there in terms of like the
PoE 1 level kind of.
And then this one here, I think like, you know, you get up to the level of quality that we really want to be delivering in PoE 2, like, you know, post release and everything, and like the kind of the amount of content you need for a league. Like it needs to be quite sizable and good, and it did take a lot of effort, but I think it's worth it because you sort of shows you what we can do when we.
I was gonna say that's like a high bar that you've effectively.
I typed it out just to send.
For expansions.
Well, hopefully I don't come to regret it. But,
that's right, guys. If you have a Prime sub you found it used this month, use it on me.
Because when we, I think that one of the things. So when I initially designed the league, I was kind of like, okay, we're going to have like some limited number of rooms. We kind of spec'd it out, and like we, you know, and each one will have a few levels, and it kind of didn't seem like it was that large. But really, in the context of PoE 2, it's like, well, if you're going to spend effort to upgrade a room, it needs to feel meaningfully different and have meaningfully better rewards and all that stuff, and it pretty soon expands into like a really huge list of like different combat encounter mechanics and different like crafting mechanics and different rewards and everything. Like, there are so many new rewards and things in just in the temple. It's crazy. Like, you know, there's a lot there. Like, certainly the number of expanded crafting options and all that sort of stuff. I mean, you know, we could take some inspiration from what PoE 1 did with Incursion, you know, in terms of double crops and stuff, but we had to make it work in a PoE 2 context. You know, there's just a lot there.
Yeah, I've followed your progress with design.
There's another announcement in an hour and a half, guys.
Yeah, the funny thing is about that is that it actually came from a game that you recommended that I play.
I wasn't going to even say
no. So yeah, you recommended that I play this game called Loop Hero, and I really enjoyed it. And then, I mean, everyone's going to think that the game we're inspired by is Blueprints, but it actually wasn't. It was Loop Hero.
You guys even called it Blueprints.
It was so good because I told you about that game, and then it was like a week later or something, you sent me a message like, "Hey, I've made this little program."
Yeah. So I prototyped up like a thing that for what would become the UI for Incursion. We actually ended up. It's funny because this is like the first league I've actually personally done code on in like quite a long time.
You really got into it.
Yeah. Because I mean, it was a real fun, just like evening thing to like go and just like work on this design. One of the great things about doing that is that I got to make so many design changes just in the course of like of writing it, like which I don't think necessarily would have gone exactly the same way if I was getting other people to do it. So yeah, that was really fun. And just make a and then effectively the back of it is like the code that I wrote, but obviously the
okay,
UI.
So patch time car in an hour and a half. Okay. Come.
Whole thing that a bunch of other people worked on and made look really awesome. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, what is it like about this one that grabbed you so much? Because you got so involved and so personally, like working on it at home.
Yeah, I just really enjoy this kind of like little game within a game, like little metagame things. And just that dungeon design thing is just a really fun thing for me.
Tile placing.
Yeah,
good, right?
it's always it's really fun.
Love a good tile place.
And I just like coming up with all the little ways that they can interact and that kind of thing, and try to make each feel a bit different and that kind of stuff. It's just a good time.
Yeah, and it's got this like iterative design where you're building a temple, you run it like it's a really small one at first, and then it crumbles a bit, but you're still kind of building on what you're doing each time. Yeah. It's like a weird kind of like roguelike-y thing without being a roguelike itself.
Yeah,
exactly. So with that design then, I'm curious, like does it like fully reset at some point? Like for example, when you kill at Zeri?
It never fully resets, but when you kill at Zeri or defeat an architect, quite a lot of the temple gets destroyed. So there's this kind of destabilization thing. So it goes back to not the start, but kind of I think it removes like 2/3 of the rooms. There's some number like that it gets rid of at that point, and then you kind of have to build up again. So that's just that effectively means that like when you do those options, you're getting like new reward rooms and things to play. So it's giving you new goals, and then you have to work towards those goals again. And then ideally, those reward rooms can be rewarding enough that the benefit of going back to smaller is or I'd say the negative of going back to smaller is completely outweighed by the benefits you're getting from the extra rooms that you're able to place.
So
yeah, it's kind of the cool thing, right? Like,
it a fair bit too,
you guys remember when they used to do the campfire chats for Diablo 4?
Quite a lot of them.
Yeah, and
do you foresee people building out like a huge temple and then
you felt like some people on that dev team didn't really play the game
do that. I mean, once you've defeated it
like these guys do, right? Like they play the game, they're talking about it, like, and these aren't just like
probably want like for ultra
developers, right? These are like
looking to get like
isn't Mark the president and he's the CEO?
Keep the temple large.
These are like management staff,
the stuff that would cause,
and that is
because if you don't kill the architect and you don't kill it,
and that's what's like unique about GGG.
Pull you back. I can't remember the exact number of rooms, but there's some number of rooms that go away when it's quite full, and then yeah, you can just juice it really high and have really challenging in-game scaling tier of stuff. Because one of the things we were sort of concerned about is that there is some in-game content that just doesn't really scale as hard as it needs to scale in order to make it properly in-game viable.
Yeah,
and we wanted to make sure that this was not the case here, that it actually does scale enough into the in-game.
Okay, so like designed to be pretty farmable and to be pretty late game relevant.
Of course, yeah.
It gets pretty hectic with all those mods.
Dude, and they won't even fuck around. Like I have a contract that's coming out now.
So for example, at the start of the game,
I got tapped to do a contract with them to do 2 videos. They won't fuck around with my content. Like,
so that you can like map for a while. Then
a lot of game companies, you do contracts with them.
You can do 60 maps. And then temples, and then 60 maps, then temples.
You can do game contracts with them, and it's just pretty much do the video. They listen to the intro and make sure the intro.
I feel like with these things, like now I keep seeing like, you guys have thought of it.
Is what the intro needs to be by like.
So for example, the whole like taking the currency away from
illegal, whatever.
Instead of having a craft.
They watch the whole thing, and they're like, "Hey, he said this wrong. Hey, that's not how that mechanic works. Have him fix this." Like, they won't even like.
And this is something that
for the last patch, they didn't work with me because I wasn't doing content. They're like, well, we're not going to give him a contract. He's not doing contract. He's not doing content for it.
Either farm temple or farm boss can be quite a divisive thing for people.
Right.
You're looking at Betrayal Katarina, right? And the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we've now on PoE1, we separated
So,
those two things so they're not.
Are you guys cool with me jumping off the Q&A? Because now they're talking more about
one or the other, depending on how the balance went.
the patch
You might
that's going to come alongside this, and I want to kind of go through some build planner stuff.
Destroyed is variable, and there's a bunch of stuff we can obviously tweak, but yeah, like getting that right, feeling right will be important. It's honestly hard to say if it is right now, but it's a thing. We say we've thought about it, but it can be very easy to see that and be like, hey, they're doing the same mistake they've made last time, which you're not wrong. Except depending on honestly having the lever this time in place of how much gets destroyed instead of entire board reset kind of thing. We get to control that a lot better and iterate on that if we need to. So
yeah, that's true. You've already
we've thought about it, but it can. I could see because I was just thinking about it, going, I reckon people are going to get mad at this. And I was just looking at it, going like.
Absolutely, Con. Thanks for watching, man. We're not doing like a full 4-hour stream here. We're at an hour and a half. I'm going to stream for just a little bit longer.
I can't farm the bosses. I either have to pick bosses or pick temple. It can be quite
okay,
bad.
so we'll close this.
And then you've kind of already got your hand hovering over the level.
Bring this over here.
As needed.
Yeah, and it's honestly kind of hard to know.
No. Okay, so this is the tree right now, and we know more is coming. Because if you kind of even just taking a look, right? Let me clear that out. Can you guys see all right? You don't need to see anything really. You just need to see how dense these portions of the tree are and how sparse this one is, right? That gives you a sense of like the strength intelligence is just there. It's just simply filling in a little bit of stuff for Acolyte and for Witch, or I'm sorry, for Witch and fucking Wizard, whatever. With that patch, we're going to get a lot more passives, and it's going to mainly fill out this, like kind of look how dense it is right here. Look how dense that is. And then look over here, right? Make builds or shoot a video at the same time? Right now, probably not. Technical issues? What technical issues, Amadon? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's 250 more plus or minus that stick. 130, by the way. But I thought it said 150 in the video. So let's look at something. Let's actually, I want to go back here. Let's assume I'm a ranger. Can you make a ranger? That's not what I wanted. Be a ranger, please. Okay. Ranger. Pathfinder. I know Pathfinder was always really good. Oops. Reset this. Can we make ranger work with the current situation? And I'm sure you could, right? This is going to be, with the density also comes kind of the capability to easily push over to another side. And this is kind of what I was saying. It'd be really interesting if you could do like a passive lock or something where it's like, hey, you can get to a certain point in the middle of a passive tree. Let's just say this jewel socket is it. And you click it. And what it does is it freezes like the bottom half or the top half of this or whatever and swaps it and allows you to play within that realm. So you can make a true like random spec versus, okay, so if we want to go from the start of Ranger to just accessing this tree, that's 26 points. That is technically, I guess, the fastest way across because you want to get to these center lanes. It looks convoluted, but really once you break it down, so Vlad, you see these little beacons right here? These are the spots that you start at depending on which class you start as. And then that only thing you really need to worry about is like, so if we start as a druid, this is our section. That's the only thing you really technically need to look at. Yeah, I would think that'd be really cool, right, Stick? Like, okay, you portal over here, boom, you're right here. Now you can play around there. Interesting, Kier. I didn't know that. So if we wanted to make like Like, because when I think rangers, I always think someone who's got like pets. Minion, not companion. Oh, it was companion. Does ranger have companions that pets that I don't know about? No new weapon for the warrior yet. So Mike, what that'll be is that'll be the berserker, which will give us the axe, or the marauder, which would give us the sword. Is it berserker that gives us axe? What's the name? What is the fuck that gives it this thing? This is your axe. Maybe it's marauder has axe. Path of Exile 2, all classes. Oh. Gladiator. It's assassin, druid, gladiator, huntress, marauder, and templar. And oof. I think marauder, it's either gladiator has the sword or marauder has the sword. Either one. Companions are different than the spirit minions. To ranger? Or is, oh, it's probably in huntress. You know, I wondered then if you tamed a rare plus B. So that's in huntress then, right? That's not in ranger. I've played ranger like scant amounts. The two I know the most about are monk and warrior. No, Templar is flail. Templar is flail. This is all for the Templar. How much time do they usually spend on a single class? We got, so this, we're on 0.4. 0.3 didn't have a class, but 0.2 had a class. Point 1 did not have a class. It's on the deck side. Well, yeah, it's right there. There's companion shit. I just don't know. Let's go to skill gems. Companion. Companion bear. Summon companion. I don't know where the, see, this thing's really not very cohesive. Is it in spear? I would believe you. I have no idea, Stick. This thing doesn't really tell you what weapon it comes from. Like Ancestral Cry. This gives me no information that this is from the mace. You know what I mean? Tame beast. Conjure Azmiri. This definitely has to be from here. I can do this. Path of Exile 2, Tame Beast. Here? Where the fuck does it come from? Doesn't say if it's in spear or not. I have to assume it is. I totally think you're right. Can I set this by spear? I got nothing for you. Path of Exile to Spear Skills. All Spear Skills. Tame. There we go. Tame Beast. So that would actually be kind of cool. Well, it doesn't. Well, doesn't it need a spear once you? I thought in order to use, let's say Tame Beast, for example, you have to use a spear, or do you just have to unlock the? Because you know how it's like you only have your specialization and you have to unlock a specialization. Because that could be pretty cool, right? Like I've actually never looked at anything Huntress related. Huntress, I don't even know their ascendencies. Amazon. And just a dex requirement. Huh. What the fuck's the other thing? Or tech? No, not tech. What's the other Amazon one? Or what's the other Huntress? Did it only launch with one ascendancy? What's going to be cool is when we do Path of Exile streams, we're going to go back to Twitch only streams in those, so we can just have fun with music and just like play around with that. Because we can't do that with YouTube. They will not let that shit fly. Well, let's just say Amazon. Doesn't matter. Ritualist? I thought Ritualist was... Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. Amazon. No. Here. Oh, my lord. Okay, so that's not the... maybe Ritualist has got... I think Ritualist has the fun, cool stuff with summoning, now that I remember. I think it is. Let me check. Charms, Blood Boil, Monster Modifier. That's the Monster Modifier one. No. Doesn't matter either way. I wonder if they will give something that kind of leans into like a Beast Master type of thing for a Huntress or something like that. I'm really curious to see what those gems are going to be like for... So companions are different than minions, it looks like. So if I really want to focus on like a Tame Beast build, I would need to pull it from here. Right? Let me take a look at that. Did I have the skill up still somewhere? All spear skills. Yeah. Turning your Tame Beast gem into a companion gem. Interesting. So to specifically call it a companion, thus using the companion modifier. All right, well, let's just go back to my original idea. Kind of wanted to play around with that, see what that would be like. What's that? Do Ranger, doesn't really matter. Deadeye. So it makes me wonder if, like, because we can't see what the Oracle is, I bet you Oracle could be a really cool way to make some kind of like Death Knight build because of what they were showing off there, right? How there's some minion stuff you can pull in from it. So I wonder if that's the place to go. So let's go like with minions things. So we go like up here. See, like, again, this is all going to be different. There can be so much more density. If we were to come around, it doesn't matter. Just clicking stuff here. Minions, deal. Link skills can target damageable minions. Link skills. What's a link skill? Why am I blanking on those? There's this big cluster up here. all this shit. Bunch of attack damage here from your shapeshifting action. Sure is. I mean, it doesn't really make much sense, period, right? Like, you have to go hard in the paint in this direction to pull much of the companion stuff out of this. I think if you made a druid build, I'm sorry, like a ranger build, you'd have to really kind of, we'd choose an element to play around with a lot more, and go that route, right? Like, I don't remember much about link skills. That doesn't really play around with it. The projectile damage. Ailments, stun build up. Successfully pairing a melee hit grants 40% damage. Nope. This is in frenzy charges. Meta gems, though? Aren't those called meta gems, Kier? Allocated without being. Oh, that's pretty sick. Damn. Give me that shit. Okay. So then if we were to then move out of this tree. And push over to, like, let's just say. Now, like, let's, you know, we don't really know enough, right? Like, and this is all kind of. What you could do is like area of effect, because there's a lot of area effect stuff over here. Well, there's some area effect, but this is area of effect. I don't know why these should be highlighting. This is area of effect. Now that rage build might be super crazy, right? But pull into this and get like area of effect, area of effect. Because you'd probably be able to do some crazy stuff with that. This presence area effect. Warcry skills. Area effect attacks. It's really going to have to come down to see how this whole build shakes out. And how much different it is. And what keywords we can really pull into it. Because take a look at this. You know, there's already totem stuff on here. This has already been here. This is something I was looking at when I was doing my like totem warrior, was like, how do I pull more totem stuff into this? And you get stuff like this, increased totem life and duration, which isn't huge, but maybe it is with spell totems. The life on totems was never worth it in the long run. You always wanted the damage because you're summoning them so fast anyway. Increase attack and speed if you summon a totem recently, that's huge. But this one's really cool. Unlimited number of summoned totems. Totems reserve 75 spirit each. So rather than being locked to a totem restriction, because that's what the warrior has initially, they can only summon 1, then 2, then 3, then maybe 4 at max, because you have to get these. You have to get. There's the passives that give you additional totems. I think this is one. Melee attack skills have a +1 max number of summoned totems. So that's an example of one. And they're kind of like really all over the place. This one down here, I think, is one. No. Let me just type in max totem. Yeah. Max number. Huh. List of totems. Place banners. There's a skill modifier, whatever the fuck they're called. A support gem. Plus this. Okay, now you can have like 3 totems up. Then you'd get this though instead. And now, elemental infusions, never mind. This instead though, so now you don't need to worry about that, but you do reserve spirit with each one. So I'm curious to see how that's going to change, if it's going to change. Because that's kind of like they just tapped into they just barely tapped into spell totems. They're like, well, we don't want to mention all of the mechanics, but spell totems are one of them. I'm like, fuck, give me more. So that makes me wonder too, what's that third ascendancy going to be? Is it going to be we have the Oracle, which I wouldn't even say is anything, right? Like, it plays with the play style, but not directly, right? Like, it's something entirely different. It's like, hey, the play style is like this of the Druid class, but the Oracle can do these things, which what he was saying too, Mark was saying, is like, I wanted the Oracle to be able to do off-spec stuff. And I think that's what's cool about the Oracle. It looks like, it showed even the example of one of like, hey, this is one of what are these called? Notables. Here, one of the notables was having to do with minions. And I was like, oh, that's sick. And it looks like it has different keystones. No, they don't. So that makes me think that there's one that's just animal transformation based. Or maybe there's just actual, because we didn't see really any of the ascendancy capabilities. We saw like two. We saw like two notables in each one. So we'll probably get both of the ascendancies next week, or one at a time. Oh man, my fucking allergies, dude. Oh, 50 pills. I'm sure they're upset that the Wyvern doesn't have any poison damage. Because I'd say, classically, Wyverns are usually associated with poison. Like, I give a shit, you know, like, it's its own thing, you know, like, you can't apply the rules of a fantasy to a fantasy game that has its own IP, you know what I mean? They're saying, well, the Shaman on every other game is like this. Well, it's like, that's okay. That's not their IP. It's a dragon. Oh, people will argue over, you know, I've learned that there is no creature, there's no subject in the world of fantasy that people will talk about and obsess about more than dragons. You know how there's the joke of like spectrum, like people on spectrum autism, as it were, are associated with trains. Fantasy nerds are associated with dragons, dude. You can go down the rabbit hole of dragons. I mean, my handle on most games is Remmer has, which is not necessarily a dragon. It's a big old fucking Arctic centipede of death. Yeah, right? Dude, that's really cool. I like the devour mechanic. How it's not just, oh, dead enemy devour. It's, you can use it as an execute. Hey, they're below a certain threshold, devour, and get power charges. And then the wolf gets endurance charges, was it? I assume the bear can generate frenzy charges. It didn't specifically say that they could. They could do war cries, and war cries can generate frenzy charges. Dude, don't get me fucking started on Gundams. Wolf has, no, Devour generates power charges. I wrote that down. But Wolf might no, Wolf has endurance, I'm pretty sure. Because I know that they were talking about Wyvern and Wolf how they can generate charges that the shaman can then use, right? Or what? Something uses, oh no, the spell totems use charges. And it's cool that we saw in the Q&A, spell totems can be used by druids while in their respective forms. So they don't have to be in human form to use a totem, which is cool. Oh, 100%. I don't necessarily, well, yeah, you can, right? Reading the ascendency, where, what? Are they doing that like in the Q&A? Okay.
You build that extra layer, that you change it through your Atlas tree and through decisions you make for the endgame, as opposed to it just being inherent. So if you want to, we're going to make sure that we try and keep it that if you want to make it more swarmy and that kind of stuff, you can.
Oh, okay, never mind. You're saying you're reading through them. I thought we were missing something.
Over the tougher monsters. There are reasons to do.
Act 5 next year. Did they say that? Wait, what are you talking about, man? Did they release the ascendancy somewhere, Stick? Or are you talking about the ones in the video? Which I have up right here.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers, Game Director on Path of... If you decide to follow this path by using the skill yourself, it will do significantly more damage.
Okay, this is for the Oracle. Okay, there we go.
Try it out more, but we'll leave those for you to see classes. The Druid will have two options for now, with a third being released later. The first class is the Shaman. The Shaman channels nature's elemental fury and can harness rage as a spellcaster, unifying as animalistic and magical.
I love that. I think that's so fucking sick.
By allocating Druid champion, you gain spell damage the angrier you are.
Nice.
And with Furious Wellspring,
no inherent loss of rage. Regenerate 6% of your max rage per second. Increases and reductions to mana regen rate also apply to rage regen rate. Skills which are not default attacks. Dude, that's so fucking good.
You generate rage continuously and can spend it to empower your spells. With the knowledge of the
the benefits of additional bonded modifiers. Oh yeah, that's right. That's cool too, with shamans having cool rune related stuff.
Magi. There are
crit strike chance. Oh, this is the bonded stuff. Right?
You can also allocate Bringer of the Apocalypse. These for mods only available to the Shaman. These new mods harness untapped power from runes and idols. After allocating Wisdom of the Magi, you will notice that all runes and idols have
effective fully broken armor. When wand or staff break armor on critical hit with spells. So a martial weapon. Is this thing considered a martial weapon?
Extra mods only available to the Shaman. These new mods unlock
we would know if I'm sure that I can find it if it
countless new possibilities for enhancing
if it has that tag.
You can also allocate Bringer of the
I would assume it does.
Allowing you to become a walking natural disaster.
Oh, this one's got all three.
Dealing enough elemental damage, storms of all elements rain around you, destroying all who would face you from each. The Oracle perfected the power of foresight and utilizes this in combat to gain massive advantage. When taking Fateful Vision, you will see visions of your future self using specific skills. If you decide to follow this path by using the skill yourself, it will do significantly more damage.
So this is interesting. So that's a fireball. Okay, and that's a fireball. Did I miss it the first time then?
If you're just taking Fateful Vision, you will see visions of your future.
Oh, okay, there it is. There it is. I was like, where is... So these little like threads here, like the threads of fate.
Follow this path by using the skill yourself. It will do significantly
you know,
more
it does, Ethelwolf, but they also said in the Q&A, they're like, we wanted the Oracle to be able to go off spec, and we'll take a look at that here.
At a critical moment in battle when a monster is vulnerable to freeze, stun, or electrocution, the Oracle can use Moment of Vulnerability to see a vision of the enemy's future, and then merge it with the current timeline, allowing him to deal damage to both.
It's interesting. That kind of doesn't make much sense.
When you first become an Oracle...
So, okay, just look at this tree. This looks different, right? Yeah, 100%. So here's the tree right now. Here's the tree it's gonna be. Just look this right here alone. That's like, oh, this over here is different. I don't even see the flail. Oh, flail was swapped into the inside right here. So you can see that, right? Flail is now over here. There's a whole different branch right there. That little pocket is entirely different right here. Oh, look how dense this area is. Well, this is all a lot of stuff that we already have. See, like this area is the same, but this is not. I hope. You know what? I bet you, Ethelwolf, it will be Paladin to compete with Diablo 4. Because Diablo 4 is announcing their new DLC at BlizzCon in September. Or they're going to announce it before that and then have you play it in September. And that will definitely be the Paladin. Yeah, look, this whole area up here is way different. This is all way, way, way different. Yeah, exactly. So let's press this.
You'll notice over 130
Those are all the fucking hidden nodes.
new extra passive
Look at all this shit.
appear in the Druid section of the tree. By allocating the unseen path, you use your power of foresight to learn from alternate futures and gain skills that would otherwise be unavailable to you. For example,
So this is what I was talking about. 20% reduced spirit reservation's efficiency of skills, 40% increased reservation efficiency of minion skills.
Sacrificing allows you to be able to summon more minions by reducing the spirit.
And look, these are undead minions.
With the trade-off of making your reservation skills cost more spirit. Or corruption endures, which allows oracles to have a small chance to avoid death.
That's super crazy.
Both the Druid ascendencies offer interesting and unique ways to gain modifiers that no other classes can get. So we're expecting a huge variety of build possibilities from these.
That is so spicy.
There are talismans for the Druid to use as well. We won't spoil all of them, but this one was particularly cool.
This talisman's fucking
Fury of the
sick.
King turns your bear form into a fire demon, converting most of your damage to fire.
If you could do undead
As a
wolves on
demon,
it on, that'd be
you
really
also use
cool.
Molten Crash, a jumping slam attack that leaves fishes
Once
around.
I can play with
This
the
unique
builder
also continuously
for
grants
Oracle,
glory, allowing you to use your
I
ultimate
might.
abilities
I've
more
wanted to make a Death Knight build
Now,
for
of course, the
ages. Maybe we
Druids
can finally do it
both
with
been
Oracle.
added to 040. We still have a bunch more to show. With every new release, we create a new league with new mechanics, new pinnacle bosses. So let's roll the trailer for the fate of the Vaal.
That's gonna be fucking fun, man. That's gonna be So I'm competing in a High Rocks, is what the name. It's a big old fucking event. That happens that happens on the 14th. So I will be gone 13th evening, go do the High Rocks and come back home. I'll stream on the 12th. I might stream the 13th in the morning, like I usually do, my 10 to 2 p.m. split, and then just head out there. So that way, is it a weed rock climbing event? No, you want to see what fucking High Rocks is? This is fucking High Rocks. This. That's a good picture. Yeah, here. Cool. I'm just not doing this. Okay, yeah. So it's an 8K with all this bullshit in between. So you run 1,000 meters or a kilometer, and then you do 1,000 meter ski. Then you run 1,000 meters. Then you do a sled push. Run 1,000 meters, then a sled pull. Run 1,000 meters, a burpee broad jump. Run 1,000 meters, rowing, farmer's carry, sandbag lunges, and then wall balls. I've had smarter ideas. I've had smarter ideas in my life. This was not one of them. I'll tell you that right here, right now. That's next Sunday. I did a simulation of it today, and I did it in 1 hour and 13 minutes. I'm feeling pretty wrecked. It's not fun. The distance is the hardest part. Running is definitely not a strength. I competed in Olympic weightlifting for 12 years. There's no point in that where they're like, go run. So that's my biggest hurdle to get over, because all the other stuff, it's strength related. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna push this as far as you want me to push it. Cool. So I'll be doing that on that Thursday. So we'll be able to get 2 streams in. The Torch match where they wanted me to tell them if they bet me with the half that. You'd be able to do it, Kier. If you trained for it for like 2-3 months, it's all you really need to do. You train for it for 3 months and you just kind of do whatever speed you can. You would think, but the impact is not that bad. You acclimate to it. But guys, I think that concludes our stream here for the day. Now patch notes are going to come out in an hour. What I'm going to do is I'll probably combine the patch notes into a summary video of this video. That way, you know, I can kind of cover both. I might try to do like a video like, hey, here's what you've missed if you haven't played since launch. And I mean, there's really not that much you've missed. You know, there's the last 2 leagues. You know, unless you went to a sports medicine doctor, Kier, that doctor was probably wrong, because a lot of doctors tell you never to do things again, and you can build your body back up properly. You just have to find a good physical therapist that can do it with you. You have both the leagues. They made modifications to the way the Endgame kind of plays, and they're stepping some of those back and changing them even now in this one. But like the auction house is now in the game. That's probably one of the bigger things people are going to notice. There's a physical therapist? Well, maybe they know. Physical therapists, though, it just depends. Some are amazing, some are not. Kind of like actual therapists. Some people love theirs, some people hate theirs. It's just kind of just depends on the luck of the draw. That's interesting. Because usually they're the ones that tell you. Not to tell you what to make, but I'd be interested in what's coming, and either additionally or separately, what's to come in 2026. So what you're saying, Stickman, is what's coming in this patch? Because we don't know much of what's coming in 2026. I guess I could speculate, right? Like, we know we're getting these class. Well, we don't know if we're getting those classes. They said specifically, there's no guarantee all the classes are in early access. When we feel the game is ready, we'll launch the game regardless of those classes. I think realistically, once they launch the Druid, everything else, I think passive skill tree wise, it's like 80-90% done. Because modifications to this will just be on a per class basis. Nothing here is placeholder at that point, right? Placeholders are probably going to be locked into the individual weapons. Like, I'm sure all this is placeholder. Yeah, this is just damage and speed and damage and speed and damage and speed. There's probably going to be more mechanics locked into the gladiator or whoever's using the sword, marauder or gladiator, that is going to change that. Even the flail, look at the flail. It's damage, damage, speed, damage, damage, crit chance, damage, damage, damage. And if we take a look at Mace, here's one of them. Heavily stunned enemies, stun build-ups, all this mace skill mumbo jumbo there. Mace slam skills, boom, boom, boom. There's the other one around. There's another mace tree. There's 2 mace trees, I thought. Maybe I'm stupid. I'm thinking of Giant's Blood and I'm high. Or looking at all the staff stuff, right? Staff is like all these different things. So I think that once they finish Druid, this will all be pretty much complete. The whole tree will just have additions to it or tweaks to it with each of the new classes. And really, we're going to have a class here. We're going to have a class here. We're going to have a class here and one more here. So the top, I think, is done. The lower right, I think, is done. This whole half of the tree needs tweaking again, and then this area. So what I'm going to do is wait for those patch notes. I'll make that video. I have another video coming out at 2. What it is, I am currently under a thing that I can't tell you what it is, but I think you'll be excited to see what it is. So that video for Path of Exile will come out tomorrow morning. Another video going out tomorrow too. Darktide video. Damn. Video's coming out of my ass. I guess I just don't know what I want. What I don't know. Yeah, I'd like to know more about if they plan on actually hitting all the classes in early access. They said early access will be at minimum 1 year. And this month marks 1 year, the end of this month. So I could see them launching in August or summertime. If it were me, I'd launch sometime after GTA 6. There's no way I'm going to touch anything in May as a developer. I want to be as far away from that launch as possible. It'll just eat up everything. That's why we're getting so much bullshit right now. Because GTA was going to come out in the beginning of this year, or end of this year. Then they pushed into the beginning of next year. Now they've pushed into Q2 of next year. And it's just basically moving this nuke of eyes and publication. When that game comes out, it will eat up everyone's viewable time. Even if you're not interested in the game, I'm not probably going to play the game at all. There's a very slim chance I cover it on the channel. I think it'll just every publication site's going to want to cover it. It's just free clicks. On that note, fucking allergies, guys. I hate it. I gotta take a break. My throat's drying out, so I need to drink water. I gotta go to Costco real quick, and then we will do those patch notes, and I'll have the video up tomorrow. Yeah, I didn't play Red Dead Redemption 2. I didn't play GTA 5. I'm not gonna play GTA 6. And yeah, I know I'm in the minority. I'm not trying to be a contrarian. It looks really cool. I've seen such cool stuff from both those games. I know it's going to be cool. I never beat a GTA, you know? I play them for a little bit, and then I just ramp up my police score a bunch of times. I had a lot of fun with Vice City, but I didn't beat Vice City. I unlocked all the areas, and then I would just drive around ramping up my police score and just trying to fight against the police. Same thing I did in fucking Need for Speed Most Wanted. That was the most fun for me. Gosh, it sucks. I was hoping they would do an 80s throwback.
an earnest disciple.
Just looks like you're in Miami today. Yeah, last place I want to be is Florida. Some guy just coming at me high on bath salts trying to eat my fucking face. Bad enough I go to downtown LA, I gotta watch a fucking hobo stroke off. That is a true story. I walked by a dude who is homeless on the street. I think it was like 10:30, 11:30 in the morning. In the morning, not at night, in the morning. And he's just grundling. It's not even like a full piper, just grundling like this, like kind of a semi-flaccid peen. And the weirdest exchange is I'm walking past him. He's on my left. He looks up at me and he goes, "How's it going?" I'm like, "Good morning." And I walk away and I'm like, did I just have like a nicety with a dude stroking it right now? And I know that sounds like, oh, I'm hamming that up. That is 100% exactly the interaction. Morning. Okay, how you doing? Like, fucking wild. Okay. But guys, thank you so much for watching here today. We'll be back on Saturday with some kind of birthday stream. I'm either going to I think we'll either play, I might just play Path of Exile on, I saw Louis C.K. I might just play Path of Exile and we'll just do it on Twitch only. And we'll play music and we'll have a good chill vibe. And we'll just kind of, I might play an Acolyte. I've wanted to play an Acolyte. And we'll play on like the Eternal server, so we don't have to worry about it. Or we'll play Space Marine 2, and I'll try and get Smog in here, and we'll do like community games. And I haven't tried the new Space Marine 2 stuff where it's adds in all the Blood Angels crap, so we'll see how that goes. But guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one. Take care. Wash your hands. Stay safe. I'll see you bros on Saturday for more streaming. We got a video coming out in 45 minutes, another video out tomorrow morning, and then another video out at 11 a.m. So lots of stuff coming your way. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday, brother. Everybody in chat say happy birthday to Stickman583. Just celebrated his birthday here on December 3rd. Mine's December 1st. We're December bros. Some would call us Sagittarius people, but I don't really give a shit about fake science. So that's how I feel about that. Actually, maybe I play a Huntress. I haven't tried Huntress at all. Thank you, man. Thank you, Kier. All right. I'll see you guys on Saturday. Have a good one. Take care. Wash hands. Stay safe. You know, the stars doesn't dictate your entire life. I mean, I believe in magnetism, but I don't know about this whole, my Mercury is in the Gatorade, my microwave or whatever, but whatever. All right. All right, guys. I'll see you.